Kevin Mowl came back home for the last time on February 28th, and on March 1st was finally laid to rest. The former Army specialist was promoted to corporal before his funeral, where hundreds of mourners from around the area and country came to pay their last respects to their family and friend. Mowl spent 7 months in hospitals in Bethesda, Maryland and Richmond, Virginia, before succumbing to complications from a feeding tube February 25th. The 22-year-old Pittsford, New York native studied in Pittsford schools until 11th grade, when he transferred to Valley Forge Military Academy. He spent a year at the State University College of Technology in Alfred before joining the Army. He was sent to Iraq in the summer of 2006.
To come here before you and pay honor to this great young American, see his family and tell them how proud we are of him and how much we appreciate their support. These are very difficult times. This war is enormously personal to those of us who lose spouses and children, those of us who serve in the United States Army, the countries at war. And we have all lost friends and family members. And we choose not to dwell on the consequences of their death, and yet remember them and honor them for who they were in life. It's instructive that with a country of 300 million people, that less than 1/2 of 1% will have the courage to put on the uniform of their country and go overseas to defend all the rest of us. And do it multiple times, freely, as volunteers, fully understanding the hazards of their profession. Kevin was a soldier. Many of you knew him as a young man, young adult, fun-loving, dependable, fun guy to be around, a brother, a son. His other family, those of us in this uniform, knew him as a very competent soldier, somebody you wanted to hang around with, somebody you could depend on, very similar to who you knew him as a young man. And his loss is a tremendous loss for all of us as well. I'm particularly gratified and humbled to be in the presence of these young people. This war, like most wars, is fought by youngsters, lieutenants, captains, privates, specialists, sergeants. They pay the heaviest burden and the largest price. And too often, I'm here, the same age as the parents of those who sacrifice all for us. And it's enormously humbling to be here and tell you how proud I am and how proud I know you are of Kevin. We're people of faith. We know that we don't have any knowledge about how many days we will have in this life. Our only choice is what we choose to do with the days that are given us. Kevin left us much earlier than normal, but he contributed greatly in the days the Lord gave him. And I think that's a very fitting tribute and should be instructive for the rest of us in what we do with our daily lives. I'm very proud of your son, your brother. I'm proud to have served with him, and I'm very proud to be here today and tell you how proud we are of him. God bless all of you.
Kevin, if I had to use one word to describe you, it would be amazing. You chose to enlist in the Army during an unstable time in global politics, knowing that there was a good chance that you would deploy. I'm in awe of your bravery and selflessness. Kevin, I admire your sense of adventure and your willingness to try anything. You've experienced more in 22 years than most people will in a lifetime. I'm glad I had a chance to share some of those experiences with you, especially the day that we spent walking the Freedom Trail when I lived in Boston. I'm thankful we had the chance to spend some time together when you were home in March. The highlight of my week was playing darts with you at Jordan's restaurant. I had a few great throws, but then I spent the rest of the night missing the dartboard and throwing darts into the pockets of coats that were hanging on the wall. Even though that I was horrible, you kept me as your partner for the rest of the night. Kevin, your intelligence amazes me and remains unmatched. I loved it when you would call me from Fort Lewis and I'd read you the questions from Trivial Pursuit cards. I was blown away when you got all of the questions right on a single card. I will miss your quick wit and your fantastic sense of humor. I have so many wonderful memories of our times together. You were such a mischievous kid, and I can't help but smile when I think back over the years. Kevin, I will miss your grin, your bright blue eyes, your dimple, and most of all, your laugh. I could not have asked for a better brother. I'll miss you terribly, but I'll remember you forever.
A writer once wrote that every living thing is bound by a contract. Every atom, every plant, every animal, and person. Its terms are simple. If you want to live, you have to agree to die. While we're all bound by the same contract, not every life has the same impact. Not every death is as significant. Kevin was the type of person you would remember when you met. He was the type of person you wanted to be around. Whether it was his love for history or politics, or hunting at the family ranch in Texas. Kevin was bound for either good things. Kevin was bound for good things at a good time. Kevin taught me what true discipline meant. Earning a black belt in karate and living a soldier's life in the Army. Discipline to Kevin meant commitment to the fullest, even if it meant giving his life. Time was relative. Sitting with a pretty girl for an hour will feel like a minute. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it will feel like an hour. Like sitting with a pretty girl, Kevin's life, his time on earth was brief. But like a hot stove, Kevin's sudden death lingers. There's much to learn from the choices that Kevin made and how the world we live in works. Not in mysterious ways, but how it's supposed to. Anyone who knew Kevin knew that he would give up his life in an instant. Not just to the Army, but for his friends, his family, and many worthy causes. It is a somber fact, but every single person in this room will eventually die. But few of us will lay down our lives in sacrifice for another. We all have our memories of Kevin, but none of us have enough. The only solace that I can find is the influence that he made upon each of us. If I'm ever asked to make the sacrifice that he made, I will look to Kevin for strength, and I'm sure I will find it. Kevin has found his escape clause in our contract, and I'm sure he will be one of the few to live on, in me and in each of you.